What is up, my tribal people? Welcome back to another episode clip of Pree Da Podcast. And just a reminder that these are only short in clips, and if you want to listen to the full episode, make sure you click the first link in the description below. Alternatively, you can type in Pree Da Podcast on all your audio listening platforms. And you guys already know what I'm going to say. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, because it's trying to grow the community. And by sharing this with your friends and family, that goes a long way in helping us do that. Now, without further ado, let's get into the podcast episode. The club scene was so dry and so dead. It was the same music everywhere. It was like Club 97. It was like house music, EDM music.
A lot of techno as well, you know.
Techno, bro. Techno was the staple back then.
You are now listening to Pree Da Podcast with your host, Mujaro.
What is up, my tribal people? Welcome back to your favorite podcast on the internet, Pree Da Podcast. I know I've been out of the game for a minute now, but we are back with episode 25 for you guys. And joining me on today's episode is one of my brothers from another mother, man like Chaddy, you know. How you doing, bro?
Yes, sir. I'm amazing, sir. How you doing?
I'm good.
Pleasure to be here, the Pree Da Podcast. Thank you for having me, bro.
No problem, man. We've been working on this for a minute, you know. Last time I came to Manchester, I said to you, bro, when you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's do this.
I know. You know how the schedule be sometimes, but, you know, we're finally here.
Trust.
Yes, sir.
So we're here to talk about your story. Just for you guys, you know, Chaddy's a barber. We go way back to the basketball magic, Manchester Magic days. So we're going to get into that a little bit. So let's start off at the beginning. That's where I like to start off. So you're not originally from the UK. Where are you actually from? Where's your family heritage from?
My family heritage and myself is from Congo, DRC. I was born in Kinshasa, you get me, the capital city. And moved to the UK when I was roughly 14, maybe going on to 15 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a big journey, but it's been an exciting one. I'm so really grateful, you know.
So what was it like coming to the UK? Because 14 is, because I came at like 6, so everything was like fresh and new, and I didn't have any experiences or any knowledge beforehand of what it's going to be like in the UK. I just got told, oh my God, you're going to the UK, it's going to be amazing, better life in that. But when you're 14, you've already experienced your childhood back in Congo. Yes, now you're going to a new environment. That must have been scary for you, no?
Yeah, it was, especially in terms of peoples and what to expect. And I was raised by my grandparents and hadn't really lived with my parents until I come to the UK. So that in itself was a bit of a change.
Oh, so your parents were already in the UK then?
Yeah, my parents were already in the UK, and my sister, my first sister, the oldest, younger sister in the family, she's 18 now, Asnaf, she was born here. And then, of course, myself, I was born back in Congo, and the rest of the little ones were born here as well. So that's how the family heritage is from. And when I moved there, it was a bit of a change in terms of not just lifestyle, but in terms of family life as well. You know, you come from living with the uncles and aunties. Everyone's the oldest, and I was the youngest, to now being the oldest in the house.
Yeah, responsibility.
Yeah, it was exciting. A lot of new changes. Even the lifestyle. The cold beat me up.
Bruh, the cold. I feel like I've never felt as cold as I ever felt back in the day. Like right now, obviously you're used to it, but back in the day, it's like that was freezing hell.
It's different, bro. It's different. Even the first snow, I know what to feel like. I even remember slipping and falling, bro.
What was your first reaction when you first saw snow?
Like in the movies, to be honest. In Manchester, it didn't snow too much, but a little bit, enough to stick. You know, playing with it, dashing it, end up with my cousins. It was a nice feeling, you get me?
Yeah.
It was different. Yeah. It was really what they really seen. Like, growing up, it was expected for me kind of like to come to the UK, even though it wasn't easy and it was a challenge. But like my parents, having come here before me, they was always telling me that we're fighting very hard to bring you over and whatnot, you know what I mean? And which was a beautiful thing to hear. growing up, because it gave you kind of like something to look forward to, like a better life. Because of course, you yourself being bored back home, you know how it be in the system, and how there's still a lot of changes to be made for the life to get better, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy. Like every time I speak to someone back home and, they obviously haven't had the opportunity to come to the UK like I did. And it's kind of sad to see because they're still in the same cycle of, like, back in the day, I'm thinking, okay, cool. I'll be able to go back home one time and, you know, everything will be quote unquote better. You know, you get electricity running constantly. You know, there won't be like thousands of elders or cousins or uncles complaining about the same thing. Like every discussion back in the day was, this president, that president, this, that. And then you speak to them and you're like, so how's it, you know, going? Is finding work okay? Or, you know, students and graduates able to find work to sustain themselves? And they're saying, no, it's still the same problems. We can't find work. My degree is basically worthless. I paid all this money for there to be no job opportunities. I'm like, damn, that could have been my life, low key. And that just makes me more grateful, coming here.
Bro.
But don't get it twisted. It wasn't all sunshines and rainbows when I first got here. Like, obviously I had some experience with some racism. Like, I want to say I had like it the toughest. It was just like when I had that experience, I was just like, what did this person just say to me? Yeah. I was just like, what? I was just so confused. Cause the way it happened was, I was just speaking to this girl that's just round from where the ends were playing football or whatever. And then she just called me, a piece of shit or something like, said something like, oh, your skin looks like shit. And I was just like, wow, what the hell? Like, I thought we were friends. Literally, and after that, I was just never spoke to her ever again. I was like, nah, I bond that. I told my brother, yo, we're going home. And like, obviously being, you know, we call it fresh off the boat. And me being so young at the time, I went to a community center and obviously the elders just take liberties. They're saying, so, you know, cause obviously I didn't know anything about, you know, being homosexual or being gay. They were like, oh, you gay? I was like, yeah, what does that mean? So, it just means you're happy. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gay. Just little jokes like that. Just little jokes like that. That was definitely, it was definitely funny at that time.
What primary school did you go to?
St. Mary's RC Primary School. St. Mary's and Angels. So, the way my family was like, oh yeah, let's go to a Catholic school, you know, Catholic system in terms of, you know, religion and overall teaching. I feel like that's overall, the standard is a lot higher than in just any regular public school. That's the perception I've gotten, because it feels like everyone else who went to a non-Catholic school, the stories I hear about it is just like, it's just a whole free-for-all, bro.
Wild one.
It's a wild one. Everyone just gets away with murder. I'm just like, right, that shit definitely don't run in my school for sure.
No, definitely. I'm actually grateful to have gone to the schools I've gone to.
You went to Trinity? No, Trinity or St. Peter's?
I went to St. Peter's, St. Peter's High School.
Yeah.
Shout out to the St. Peter's gangs. You know. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. We contributed a lot towards who we are, and even in terms of basketball as well. Yeah,
I was just about to go into basketball. Like, St. Peter's had a decent basketball team, to be fair.
We're the best in the country. Everybody knew it, bro.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. St. Peter's had Manchester basketball high school level on lock, because no one else took basketball seriously at all. It was only football. Everywhere else, it was competitive regarding football. You could actually, you know, it was back and forth. But with basketball, St. Peter's was just like, yeah, let's not even compete with these man, because they're just taking over the game. So the way we met each other was back when I was playing Manchester Magic basketball. So
shout out to the Magics.
Yeah, shout out to the Magic gang.
Yeah, this is.
So when I started, it was just, you know, I went to St. Anne's High School and we didn't have a basketball program at all. So it was just some people used to play football, just started playing basketball just on an off day. And I was like, yo, what do you guys know about basketball? Even though I didn't know much about basketball myself. All I saw was like some Kyrie highlights and that's about it. So they were playing at lunchtime. So I just thought I'd just join in every now and again. And I was like, oh yeah, this is actually kind of fun. You know, everyone's already said, you know, oh, Majari, you're so tall. Why don't you be a basketballer? Da-da-da.
I was gonna say, was you the tallest always growing up?
Yeah, man. I was always the tallest. So I was always getting that, oh, you should be a basketballer. You should be a basketballer. What about you?
Yeah, you know, to be fair, similarly, you know, until about year 11 when everybody caught up, I'd say I've been about the same height forever. If I must say. Like, since we met, I don't think I've grown much.
I don't think I've grown much either. I think I've, like some people, they're short and then they have a mad growth spurt. And then there's people who I feel like I'm in that camp where they're tall, but they're only tall for so long and then everyone catches up. For sure.
It was a bruiser, to be fair. You know, I've been waiting for my growth spurt since.
Yo, that was the running joke with you. It's like, yo, just watch when I get my growth spurt. I'll be dunking on you guys.
I said, maybe this summer.
Summer too late, mate.
I'll tell you that. Yeah, man. What's your team again, Manjaro?
What? As an NBA team?
You know, NBA actually, yeah. Let's start NBA first, actually.
Honestly, I'm just on whatever team LeBron James is on. I'll be honest, I'm that guy. I don't follow any teams. Because obviously we didn't grow up with it like when it comes to football, it's like a proper tribal thing. And that's just how I feel like European sports are. It's like local to your area or where you live or where your family's history is around. Whereas with American sports, you know, unless you live
far in it. We're tapping in from far in it.
Exactly. Unless you live close to the area or have some family heritage ties to it, you're not really going to be that passionate about the Lakers or, you know, the Clippers or whoever team you're following. To me, it's just wherever the most interesting storylines are or the more interesting players are, that's who I follow. Like, you know, we have the playoffs right now, so I'm locked into LeBron James's Lakers, like every chance I get. So I just watched the highlights of the game 7 or game 6. I think it was game 6 against Steph Curry.
The Warriors.
Yeah, and LeBron James just took over. And AD, street clothes. For those who don't know, Anthony Davis is a basketball player, but he consistently gets injured. And it's never like anything career ending. It's just he'll land on someone's foot, he'll twist up an ankle, he'll, you know, land poorly and stuff like that, and he'll be out for like weeks. And then he'll come back and like nothing happened. It's crazy how crazy he bounced back. But what about you? What team do you follow?
I'm a Lakers baby, I must say. Yeah, I've been a Lakers baby for quite a while. But obviously, also a LeBron fan, so at times my heart has deviated and swayed a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
But it's not even, honestly, I don't even see it as that deep. Honestly, I don't even see it as that deep because, like over here, like when it comes to football, if you're a United fan and then suddenly, you know, I've had friends where they're following a player, right? So Carlos Tevez was the one guy for Manchester United, right? Everyone who followed Carlos Tevez, once he left Manchester United, they went straight to City like it was not an issue. Like, oh yeah, I'm a City fan. And then they just disregard the whole history as a Manchester United fan a season ago. And then now they're wearing City shirts and now they're going to City games. And I'm like, bruv, you just gonna act like you weren't a Manchester United fan a week ago? It's crazy. Yeah, so people over here will kill you, but I feel like it's more acceptable, even in the NBA culture, to be a fan of multiple teams like that.
Yeah, for sure, though. For sure. Because basketball excitement and basketball in general as a sport, it's a bit different, you know, than football.
Yeah.
Because of the trade system happens so much, you can find yourself liking a team, like our players, rather than the franchise, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Because it's
back in the days.
Yeah. Because it's a closed league. So there's no relegation or promotion. It's just, we go again next year, guys. Come on. Let's try and get some more draft picks because we tanked to get a lowest seeding so we can get the number 1 pick. Let's drum up some hype for our next upcoming star so that, you know, we can sell more tickets. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, the NBA, man. We love it, though.
Yeah, we love it. Like, I wouldn't say I love the NBA. I love basketball. That's where I would say I love basketball, the sport itself, because like when I started, I don't think I was very good at all. It was just, I got off straight up on my height alone. My height was just the key thing for me. Cause when I even came to, the tryouts for Manchester Magic, I had probably been paying for like maximum a year. And it wasn't like anything serious. It's just with my college and then recreationally at the rec league in, I think it was Reading? No. What was the, starts with R-E-D. Redditch? Yeah, Reddish. Yeah, Reddish ball hall. That's where it was at. Yeah. So that's where I started playing like more competitively. And then my boy Matthew, you know Matthew, right?
Yes, sir.
Matthew McIntosh, shout out to the boy.
Come on.
I got a shout out from him saying, you know, there's trials for Manchester Magic. You should come through and just see what happens. So I came there. I was gassed. I don't think I played really well. I know you were there. You were just there because obviously you were already in the program. So you just, you know, looking around, seeing who's good.
The thing is, I had been in your shoe literally the year before. Funny enough, is one thing I don't think you actually did. Same way when I come as well. And it's an interesting experience, the trials of Magics. Because even though you can play in a group of small people, it's like the best of that age group. You understand?
Yeah.
And then it's a different vibes, you know, and it's not even about who's the best no more, it's who can consistently perform. And I feel like at the position you played, you did well, because you don't even have to do too much.
You did not need to do, you just need to catch rebounds. And if you caught rebounds, you were good. That's all, even, regardless of even putting the ball back in the net, that's all I think I was good at that time. Just catching the ball, because no one else was competing like that. Like, that was it.
Plus, by the time they see you and your big self, they're like, he's grabbing it anyways. Let me just leave him have it. Finish the game with 20 boards, bro. And it's good to see.
So, like, when I got in, like, I was just looking around. I saw a man like Sammy. Who else did I see? I can't even, honestly, there were so many players, I can't even remember their names right now. Forgive me, guys. If you see this, sorry for not shouting you out. But, I was like, yeah, I got picked, and I was like, right, is it like that? I was like, honestly, I thought I played terrible, so that's why I was just like, oh man, I wish I could have done better. But when I got picked, I was like, okay, let's go, let's see where this can go. And then straight away, it was like, right, so training's on Thursdays. So that's when I left cadets, because I was like, yeah, I've done my time at cadets. I've got up to like a sergeant level. I told them, yeah.
Come on, big up.
Yeah, I was like, you know, I did my thing. I said to them, basically deuces. And they were like, no, you know, we're going to promote you. We're going to make you a flight sergeant if you stay, Cause I was like the most consistent guy there. I was the guy.
Jeez.
Yeah, I was the guy, you know, laying out the law, you know, making sure everything I was even teaching at one point at cadets. So when they lost me, it was basically the end, basically, because there was no one else as committed to the program as I was at the time, because I was, you know, when I started something, I wanted to finish it, and I felt like I just got to the end. I just wanted to do something
That's
else.
always been part of your character, to be fair.
Yeah. I guess so. I'm a starter completer, I think. But, yeah, when I got into the program, I saw you, and you were like one of the most encouraging people that I played with. Like, it was like, yo, bro, you know, just keep on going. You know, be aggressive. Like, one of the problems I felt like I had was aggression. I wasn't like on it all the time, every play. It was just like, cause at the same time, I was so raw and I didn't really fully understand the fundamentals of basketball, because obviously we started so late. What was it like for you starting so late?
To be fair, mine was different, because the way that I started was very interesting. I went to St. Peter's. As you know, that's a dog school. Like, if you're not aggressive in that school, these guys will eat you alive.
Yeah, facts.
So aggression was a big part of the game because we play outside, street ball, everywhere. Like Manchester basketball. Like, I don't think there's many courts I haven't touched. Obviously, not always been the best on the court, but for me, it was the vibes, the culture, the experience, the journey, the way basketball took me. Like, I don't think. You get me? You can't undermine that experience. You yourself, you remember the traveling on the buses.
Yeah.
The time with the teams.
Yeah, the team building.
It's, yeah, man. It was lovely, bro. And keeping up the aggression is one of the things that helped me stay on the team. So I always try to help those that I felt like if you utilize this, you know, you can definitely get some minutes because it was needed in the sport. It was needed at that age. Remember the times that we'll play London? You know, the London teams weren't a joke.
Yo, bro, even play, it's crazy. Manchester Magic, like at that time, Manchester Magic had a reputation, right? Because of John Amici. I feel like it was just because of John Amici himself. Honestly, because for those who don't know, John Amici was a former NBA player from the UK. And obviously I didn't know much about his story at that time, but now, obviously doing a reflection, he was actually a decent player. He was a role player. He wasn't anything like, you know, Magic Johnson or even Luol Deng. Luol Deng's probably better than him in terms of levels of NBA players, but he was one of like the first of his kind from the UK who actually did something of note in the NBA.
He paved the way for a lot of people. And just making it itself is exceptional. The chances of making it into the NBA is...
Especially from the UK at that time. Especially. So, one of his, you know, legacies was to come back and create a program for people in Manchester. And that's why it was called the John Amici Centre at the time. I'm not sure if it's called that right now.
Manchester Basketball Centre now, I think.
Yeah. So that was his legacy that he wanted to leave. And through him and his connections, he was able to give opportunities to up-and-coming talent who the program saw, you know, potential in. I know Kayam was one of them. Shout out to Kayam. He's just, you know, graduated university.
Bro, doing his thing, man.
Bro, you remember Kayam? Yo, you just see him.
A young man. There's always been a graph that he wanted it. He's wanted it.
Right, he's wanted it. And you can see the talent. And at the time, I wasn't sure if he was gonna make it because I just didn't see because obviously, you know, there's only one center, right? There's only one center and the court time is precious. So whenever your training session's over, it's straight. Manchester Magic are coming to train there and you're out. So I was just thinking, you know, the kids were, you know, saying, or the teachers or the coaches were saying, oh, you know, make it to America. That's the aim. Go to America. And I was just thinking like, where are you going to find the facilities in the UK like that to consistently practice? So that's why I was just like, you know, I know they want to push, you know, people going and making it that far, but like the facilities aren't as, you know, vast as they would be in probably other countries, especially in America. So when I saw Kayam, I was like, yo, this guy's got talent, but I wasn't sure if he would have the support around him. But by hook or by crook, man made it to the US.
He's made the impossible possible. Yes, sir. And a few of the other names, the Mikes and numbers.
Yeah.
Kingsley's, you know, the
Kingsley.
Farrells, the Patricks, Aarons. A few of the guys, you know, they did well for themselves, and it's beautiful to see them, you know, even carrying on their career now, you know, and keeping the fall going. Yeah.
So, you know,
transitioning into a footballer, actually.
Who?
Talk about that. You?
Me? Yeah. He's one of them. Yeah, it's one of them where, obviously, growing up in the UK, football's always been part of the heritage. Football's always been there. The main problem for me at the time was, you know, just finding shoes in my size. Cause back then there was no, oh my God, the new Tiempo 11s are getting released, you know, next month. So make sure you're in line to get those shoes. There wasn't as much information at the time because the internet was just starting up. There wasn't as much information regarding shoe releases in terms of football. And my shoe size was always big. So finding stuff that fit me comfortable was always a problem for football boots. But regarding basketball boots, bro, you can find shoe size 40 if you really look hard enough. Like, there's no limit to the amount of, big feet shoes you can get for basketball. So that was another appeal because I could actually play that comfortably and not feel like my feet are going to bleed by the end of the match. So that was one of the things that drew me to basketball. And the reason why I fell out of playing basketball consistently is, once you play for Manchester Magic and then you go to university, you play for the university team, and then come out of that structured basketball environment that's been around you basically your whole life. It's really hard to find 10 people on a weekly basis to come play basketball because, we're in England, it's not sunny every day or every night. It's raining. No one wants to play, basketball in the rain outside. Indoor courts are really hard to come across because you're fighting against badminton, table tennis, gymnastics. Kids want to play inside. So football is just more logical thing for me to just stay fit. And I still enjoy it.
You got tackles though, I'll give you.
Hey man, I try. Don't let the highlights fool you. Don't let the highlights fool you. I've had some clangers, but I try my best. It's one of them.
Position, if you were to play 11 aside.
What position? Bro, like with basketball, I've tried almost every position. Well, honestly, I've not tried every position because there's just some positions that I know I'm just not good at. Point guard, never the one. I'm not a point guard. I can do some nice passes here and there, but running the offense through me, bro, that's too much pressure. I couldn't handle it because I just fumbled the ball, bare turnovers, too much things to think about. I'm not LeBron James because when you're playing basketball, it's like there's only 5 people on the court. So you've got more control and you're more impactful for your team. So if one player is out of sync or not doing the right thing, the coach is going to be like, bruv, sit back down on the bench. You're not doing what I asked you to do. You're running like a headless chicken. So that was me at the start of my basketball career. And it was only until my latter years, that's when I started to understand, oh yeah, this is what a screen does. Create space. You just only need a little bit of space to get a shot off or make it pass through or for someone to cut behind you or, even doing back screens. I was like, what's this for? Why am I screening over here when the ball's over there? I just didn't get it. I didn't get it. It's like when you play basketball, it's like
complex.
Yeah, it's complex. Like the ball is gravity or the ball is the earth. And wherever you swing the ball, that's where the gravity and the people's attention go to. So if the ball's over on the left-hand side, people are going to be looking at on the left-hand side more than on the right-hand side. So if you do something on the right-hand side and make sure it's open on that right-hand side, the ball can just swing past over and then there's a free shot potentially. So I didn't understand that dynamic when it comes to basketball. But with football, I feel like you can get away with a lot more because it's 11 on 11. So you're relying on your teams more than your individual, skill set. But your individual skill set can also be impactful in specific ways. For example, I've played as a goalkeeper because I was just big. I've played as a defender because I was just big, right? So as I've moved up, it's just because, you're a goalkeeper. Yeah, you're big, but you're not really good with your, reflection. You don't really like to dive on the floor. You don't like to get dirty like that. That was the one thing I just could never dive. Like, I just felt like if I just stuck out my hand and I landed in the wrong place, it could be the end of me. So I was just like, yeah, I can stick out a leg. And that was about the best I can do to stop a goal. But anything else, it was just too much.
Who's your keeper?
Exactly. So central defense, I played it and I'm decent, but I don't find joy for it. That's why when I was playing basketball and I was just setting screens at the start of my career, I was like, bro, am I just a number? Am I just here to set screens or am I just here to, head the ball away from my box and just hoof it? I just didn't find any enjoyment. So when I moved from defender to, I tried playing, midfield, not in a 11-a-side type of situation, but in a 7-a-side or 5-a-side. And I was okay, but like I didn't have the fitness. I
scratched my head for you, big man. That's wrong.
Exactly. Like, that's one of my weaknesses in terms of, athletics is my stamina isn't great. Like, there's guys that can just run for days. And I'm always envious of those people because I'm just like, bruv, aren't you not tired? Like, you've been going for 30 minutes straight and you've not really like sat down once. So I didn't have that engine to play in midfield like that because, when you're playing basketball, because the basketball is like that, you're constantly up and down. So that was one of the problems with me. I can't stay in for a good 10-minute stretch. That could probably never happen with me. Maximum, I could probably do 7 on a good day. And with football, just going up and down offensively and then defensively, you need to be switched on. Same thing with basketball. So that role wasn't great for me. However, being a striker is the perfect role for me. I don't have to be on the ball too much, but when I'm on the ball, I can be impactful and get my assist or get my goal, and I'll be like, yeah, that's me done for the day. I can just coast. What about you? What position did you play at basketball?
Basketball, you see, I've played from the inside out. So from the number 5, because I was the tallest. And over the years, I wanted to be outside. Like, I didn't want no boring life of just rebounding and trying to block shots. Like, I wanted to be the highlight guy. Because, like you said, basketball is all about the excitement. If I don't go in my house pumping all over, left, right, center from all sorts of emotions, I don't feel like I've accomplished a session, you know what I mean? Yeah, and it's more of a feeling than just a physical exercise because it plays a lot on the mental,
Facts.
Yeah. And I enjoy the point guard role because I kind of like responsibilities and problem solving, if the team's not scoring on shots, then maybe let's drive, I like that because I feel like I'm more of a vocal player, even on defense. I like to talk,
That's definitely one of your strong suits, communication.
Yeah, definitely, bro. I like to utilize that. I feel like it's needed, and a lot of people didn't even talk on the team, and I felt like if I can talk, it's definitely going to give me some minutes, because, everybody can switch off, if you remind somebody something, it's always a +1, do you know what I mean?
Like, that was the main thing, especially at the start, was just speaking on the court, because I don't know what it is. Do you know what it is? I think people are just so focused on trying to do the right thing, they're forgetting about you guys playing as a team, and you need to communicate when you're playing football, when you're playing basketball, any team sport, you need to. So if like one person is just speaking and there's no one else giving them information, and that's the thing, it's information. That's what people need to function as a team, is information. You can talk and be like, you had, had a good dinner today, or what'd you have for lunch? But that's not relevant to, someone's setting the pick on your right hand side. Make sure you go over, go under, or switch. Those little bits of information work wonders when you're playing as a team, because then you can actually get into a rhythm and you can build momentum off that. And I feel like you were one of those players.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I enjoy being that kind of role player, and it's a good thing to have in the team. I've always realized that, not in a bad way or in a degrading way, but unfortunately God never blessed me with a star player quality in terms of scoring ability or even dribbling ability or anything like that, because there were other guys on the team, as per how some absolute slashes.
Shooters as well, bro. We had some shooters.
You know what I'm saying, bro? All sorts. And I thought if I play my role, it'll keep me where I need to be, and I take what I need to take. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So since we stopped playing basketball in Manchester, do you think like basketball has grown? Because, back then it felt like it was hard to find a BBL game. Yeah. There was only a select group of people that you could talk basketball with. But now I feel like it's definitely grown in terms of there's more facilities that are opening up that specifically coach basketball in Manchester as well. I feel like the profile of the BBL has also grown. I feel like a lot of that's to do with social media. Hoop Fix definitely did their thing. They do all-star games. They do highlight reels, competitions, camps. I feel like they've been one of the leaders in motivating young people to choose basketball instead of other sports. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. And there's been, rises of other social media platforms as well. And there's Manchester basketball, which is run by one of my friends, Janelle Brown. He's also a former Magic player. And he's doing well in terms of showcasing new upcoming talents and even exposing some of the female players as well.
Yeah, don't forget about the females.
Yeah, it's always been a basketball industry in Manchester that's always been underlooked, but it's been a major rise, and we love to see it even being televised more and whatnot, because female football is always the topic, but how about other female sports? Imagine if female football is not seen in this country. You can't even think about basketball.
Bruv, yeah. Like, it was the Manchester United, FA Cup female finals. I think it was Sunday. Yeah, Sunday yesterday against Manchester United against Chelsea, and unfortunately Manchester United lost and Chelsea won 1-0. But back in the day that would have never been televised, but now it is. So imagine female basketball back in the day. No one's even having a conversation about it. It's like, Manchester Mystics, who are they?
And it's good to see them, absolutely finally getting some flowers and whatnot. But they do put in the work,
Yeah.
They do put in the work, yeah.
Yeah, like, even going to games is more accessible, because I feel like because of the technology, you can easily find a ticket, you can easily find some news about it. A couple of times when I went back to Manchester in the past 2 years, I went to a Manchester Magic game at the arena that's literally opposite St. Peter's.
For the Giants.
Yeah, for the Giants game.
Yeah.
They were like, you have to go online, put in your information and get a ticket and then just scan and walk through. I'm like, right, just like that. Like, it's quick.
Yeah, you can actually do it properly now and get this. It's getting better. It's absolutely getting better, and I've been going to a few of the Giant games this past couple of years. A friend of mine, Isaiah, has been taking me, and he actually works at the school, St. Peter's, which is where the Bellevue Centre is located, the same place.
Yeah.
Right in front of it. And it's nice to see even the BBL in terms of Manchester basketball BBL elevating as well. A lot more American players. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of the Giants game lately?
Nah, not lately, because I've just been busy. But quickly on the American players, like, American players are just different when they come over here. They have a certain swagger, which, puts them above a lot of people because, they've just been playing it for longer and the culture is just different over there. And at the same time, they have a certain, like, attitude when it comes to, I'm just better than you. It's an arrogance. And I've met people who had that arrogance and was just killing it, and I've had, met people who had that arrogance, and everyone was looking at them like, bruv, just because you're American don't mean like you're Michael Jordan. Like, you need to actually work here.
You're not that guy.
You're not that guy. But, everyone's different, and that person was able to level up and get to a decent level. But like, we played against, an American team, or we've seen American teams come to the UK and play against, teams from France in the, what's that? The Winter Cup that we usually have, like, every year.
And the Harris tournament.
Yeah, the Harris tournament. So that's a tournament where it's a selected amount of teams from different countries, from Spain, from America, from obviously England, London as well. That come and do like a round robin tournament, and someone gets crowned. And I feel like every year the American teams just came and just took the cup home. Honestly, because when the last time I watched it, it was just a demolition game. Like, people scoring 40 points, dunking on people like it was not an issue, in-game dunks on people. I'm just like, these men are crazy. So,
yes, sir.
That's why the Americans, when they come here, the BBL is just trying to find them. They're like, oh, you played for D1 in high school? Let's sign you up right now.
Chucking bread at them. Yeah. Absolute ballers. I think some of them as well is inherited as well. Even like you can have inherited basketball genes. You know what I'm saying? Because when your dad's talking to you about basketball, even from your mum's belly. Do you get me? It's a different vibes. By the time you're born, you got a basketball in your hand, and it's somewhat what we're doing for what we're going to be doing for our kids. Do you get me? And I'm pretty sure you yourself, you get me? They definitely have to be ballers. What do you think?
Yeah. Yo, honestly, I'm thinking, literally, I'm both, right? I'm going to see both. I'm going to say both. And then whichever one he chooses out of them two, he chooses. And then I'm supporting him either way. So that's the way it's going to go with me and him. So
I think both sports complement each other.
Yeah, I think they do as well. Yeah. But at the same time, you do need to know the difference. You do need to know the difference, and what you can get away with in football, you can't necessarily get away with in basketball. In terms of, because I played with footballers, right, who played basketball, and the trait that they had was they would always want to beat a guy before passing the ball. It'll be a fast break, and instead of passing the ball ahead, they'll try and dribble past them when I'm like, bruv, I'm right ahead of you. There's an open layup. All you need to do is lift your head up and make that pass. But they'll be doing inside and out, trying to break man's ankles before even passing the ball or even looking up. And I'm like, bruv, just don't do that. Just pass, and you're in the net.
Yeah, facts. Big facts.
But it is what it is.
The sport, in basketball, you can find more opportunities with just lifting your head up. And I feel like football can be played with the head down a lot as well. What's your mindset in the dribbling aspects of football and basketball? How do they differ?
I wouldn't say I'm the craziest dribbler in either. I can definitely dribble more in football than I could in basketball, because because obviously when you're dribbling, there's literally 5 people who can get the ball off you at any one time. Whereas with football, it's usually 1-on-1. No one's really gonna double team you unless you're that crazy. But no one's, like, if you're playing just recreationally, like, you're never gonna get a double team. But in basketball, double teams are a thing. So if someone can trap you in a corner that you put yourself in, it's crazy, because you're just gonna need to pass the ball. And you have to you can't just pick up your dribble. You can't just dribble, stop dribbling, dribble, because there's actual fundamental rules that stop you from doing that. So it's a completely different game. So when I was dribbling in basketball, I was just like, okay, let me dribble to a position and then pass off to someone else. I could never just, dribble past someone, cross over, and then go straight to the basket. If I was going to do that, it would just be straight away from a pass, swipe under, bounce, 1-2. I wasn't trying to do too much.
I see with your footwork. I like it.
It's one of them. You need to know your levels, and then you can build from there. But in terms of basketball growing, do you feel like Manchester as a whole has grown as well? Not just from basketball, but as a community, as a culture, as a city. Manchester's changed a lot since we last spoke to each other like that.
It's not the same Manchester,
It's not.
Yeah.
What would you say the key differences are?
Not just in terms of new buildings and new people moving into the city, but also new experiences and new opportunities. From the night scenes and better clubs in terms of ethnic clubs as well, and different vibes, and even just age group vibes, like over 21 events, which is just saturated to just catering a bit to the older generation, you know what I mean? Shout out to FOMO and whatnot, and just different experiences, even like NQ64. I don't remember us having arcades where we can just go and just catch a vibes, even on a date night feelings, you know what I mean?
Definitely not.
It's beautiful to see,
Like, when it comes to Manchester right now, I feel like it's definitely getting more of a London vibe in terms of there's always something to do. You can always find something to do on a night out. It doesn't even necessarily need to be in the club. It could be like a silent rave or a sporting event, or, just a date night cinema, or a group of people going to a concert or a gig. Like, there's always something. But back then, there was maybe like a couple of things a night, and that was it. It was a school night, or people working the next day. So people were just like, yeah, we haven't got much on today. So, take it or leave it, especially with the clubs. I remember the club scene was so dry and so dead. It was the same music everywhere. It was like Club 97. It was like, house music. What else? What was that? EDM music.
A lot of techno as well,
Techno, bro. Techno was the staple back then.
Absolutely, bro. I remember, was it called Factory?
Factory, yes. Factory. And, Factory is a good example because for those who don't know, Factory is, I would say a club complex. It's got different floors that specialize in different types of genre music. So you'll have, I don't know, indie pop, punk or indie rock. You'll have, pop. You'll have, dance. You have house. And then you might have one little room that has like R&B, hip hop. And that was it.
If you're lucky.
But soon, they started to expand and they had more rooms that had R&B and hip hop genre rooms. And then that spread to the rest of the, club scene in Manchester. I know Arc started to do more hip hop and R&B nights, and then Lolos, and then Sakura, and then what are the other ones? Club Live, bro. Club Live.
Yeah. I remember the old school Suedes.
Yes. So it definitely evolved, and it encouraged more black people to actually go to the clubs again, because at the time it was just house parties, because then you could control the music and you can control the vibe.
Yeah.
But when you went out, it was like you were just at the, dependent on whoever promoter hits you up first. And
yeah, well, you got a free shot from me, yeah.
Yes, literally, they'll be at the doors like, your free shot when you go in. Here's a wristband or here's a ticket. Show it at the bar and then you get your free shot. That was the way they used to get people like us in. But other than that, we weren't checking for them. But now there's lines around the block to get into clubs. Like, there's places that have like a strict dress code, or there's tables only. Like, I know a place called, what's it called? China White. That's the one. China White. I've never been, but I wanted to go. And when I saw the stipulations, I was like, bro, it's crazy. Like, you have to sign up to the guest list. You have to get a reply back. I'm like, bro, reply back. I thought I was just going to get on the guest list and that's it. See me at the club. But, you have to get a response back. If you get no response, you're basically not going to be let in. It's tables only. Have you been to China White before?
A very long time ago, but not on a recent, since lockdown vibes.
Yeah.
It's a very, I say China White is a very acquired taste. It's not for everybody. And even just having the table vibes, I'm more of I do enjoy the table on special occasions, but I like to be in with a crowd.
Yes, I like to dance and catch the vibe with people and just meet random people and just be like, yo, you good, G? Da da da. Catch a vibe, dance. It was always a good time when people are dancing that don't know each other.
Yeah, facts. Just the music, just bringing the people together, innit? Yeah, man.
So it's been good catching up and seeing where we've come from and seeing how Manchester's changed, how people come from different areas, because Manchester is the hot spot in the north. Like, don't get it twisted. We're the capital of the north. Like, everyone wants to be, we're the capital of football. Like, even though Manchester City, I'm not a fan of theirs, when they win, I can't be upset, really. I can't be upset because, because, they're still bringing attention to Manchester, the city. So that's the only solace I take whenever they win the Premier League. So I'm just like, as long as it's staying in Manchester, I can't be that mad. I can't be that mad.
It's not too far.
Exactly. It's basically, honestly, it's even closer, Manchester City's ground, because it's closer to my house than Old Trafford. But
true this though. That's the East Siders.
Yeah, basically your barbershop is literally outside, the Etihad Stadium. But We'll talk about that when we come back from a break.
Said I wake up every morning, pray to God that I'm fixing up. Hope I'm never slipping up. Hear the money calling, need my peace to start getting up. Feeling like I'm blessed, but it came with a bit of luck. Feeling like you stressed, then the tension starts to fill you up. Need an intermission, yeah, they ain't the same lane as us. Come from different sticks, yeah, they're not the same range as us. They cop the pleas and top of teas, they're not hitting range with us. Keep